Hey guys, it's Scott from Forgot to Row Podcast, and welcome to another edition of Rewatch, Revisit, Review, our new weekly video series where I rewatch a movie I haven't seen in a little while, talk about my thoughts after revisiting it, and then give you guys my review for that movie. Alright guys, so today I'm talking about Shaun of the Dead to round off the third thing in the Cornello trilogy, the third installment. Well, technically it was the first installment in the Cornello trilogy, but this is going to be my third video covering that set trilogy, which is, for those of you who don't know, a trilogy that just was starring Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, along with the directorial talents of Edgar Wright. And those movies consist of today's movie, Shaun of the Dead, the movies I've covered in the last 2 weeks in this video series, Hot Fuzz and The World's End. So if you guys want to check out those videos afterwards, I'll be sure to link them at the end, so you guys can check those out as well. Unless you've already done that, in which case, well, you could do it again. I'm not opposed to views and likes. Anyways, so today I'm talking about Shaun of the Dead, the first time I was personally introduced to Simon Pegg as an actor, and I remember when I first saw this, I just really loved it, and it's been too long since I had rewatched this, but I rewatched it over the weekend for this video series particularly, and I really enjoyed it as much as I did the first time I did it around. But let's get a little ahead of ourselves, guys. We're going to be talking about rewatch first, so let's just dive into that now. Okay guys, so like I said, I rewatched this over the weekend, but for those of you who haven't seen this in a while or haven't seen this at all, I'm just going to give you guys the IMDb plot summary so you just have a quick little refresher about it. So this movie follows Shaun, doesn't have a very good day, so he decides to turn his life around by getting his ex back to take him back, but he times it right in the middle of what may be a zombie apocalypse, hence Shaun of the Dead. But for him, it's an opportunity to show everybody that he knows how useful he is by saving them all. All he has to do is survive and get his ex back. So that's the IMDb plot summary for you guys. As you can see, this is a pretty standard kind of comedy zombie film, but it's so much more than that. It's such an original kind of take on both a comedy and the zombie genres in particular. I'm sorry guys, just lost my words there. But I really enjoy this movie. How I rewatched it personally was I thought I had this on DVD. I swear I did. But I didn't. Apparently I didn't. I searched all my DVDs, all my brother's DVDs, could not find it. So I had to rent this on Google Play. Digital rent, did that and got it for $1. Anyways, so I got it on that because it's also not on Netflix Canada or Amazon Prime Video Canada, or any of the Canadian streaming services that I personally subscribe to, which is all of them. But anyways, it's not in. We couldn't get it streamed in Canada. That's why my only option was to either go get it on DVD or to rent it online, which is what I did. But it doesn't seem to also be available in the US Netflix or the UK Netflix or Amazon Prime in either one. But I also can't know that for sure because I'm in Canada. I don't have the United States or UK Netflix or Amazon Prime. I can't be sure, but from my research, which was about 5 minutes worth, I couldn't seem to find that it's anywhere. So I think we all have to kind of resort to either buying this on iTunes, Google Play, or getting it on DVD and Blu-ray. So my thoughts after revisiting this movie was that it's still my favorite zombie movie. There's so many. It's not technically even 100% a zombie movie, but because it's a zombie comedy, but this is definitely my favorite movie that involves zombies. It involves people, because people have turned into zombies. My point is, it's my favorite. Still is my favorite because I just love the way they brought this kind of humorous British take to a horror film, the zombie horror film. But I just, because I'm not a big horror fan, so I don't need a scary one. I prefer a little bit more jokey, a little more fun. I can't handle suspense, guys. I got too much anxiety for that. I can't do it. But anyways, for the most part, like I said, still remains one of my favorite zombie movies and favorite comedies too. This was probably my favorite in the Cornello trilogy, just because I'm always a big fan of the movies that spark a thing off, that start it. I'm always the biggest fan of the original of a series. And this, I feel, is the first one. Well, this is the first of the Cornello trilogy, and that's one of the reasons why it's still my favorite. What's another point? I got another point written down. It says, like most Simon Pegg, Nick Frost, and Edgar Wright team ups. This movie is amusing, entertainment, and enjoyable hour and a half of these folks surviving an outbreak of the living dead. That's a pretty good written line if I do say so myself. Anyways, I will definitely be revisiting this movie again and again in the future. To me, it doesn't get old. There's nothing really dated about this movie because they don't go like there's not like a bunch of pop culture references to like specific things nowadays. Like they have some like Point Break. No, that's Hot Fuzz. This one has other references, but not as many that like kind of date it in a way that you can't enjoy this. But even though it's been 10, 14 years since this movie came out, and it's like I still enjoy it to this day, and I will definitely still enjoy it into the future. So my review for Shaun of the Dead, we're going to start off by giving you the critics and the audience ratings on this movie, okay? So the IMDb rating is an 8 out of 10. The Rotten Tomatoes score for critics was a 92% on the tomato meter with a 7.8 out of 10 average rating, and audiences gave it a 93% on the tomato meter with also a 7.8 out of 10 average score. And on Metacritic, it had a 76. And so as you can see, that critics and audiences alike loved this movie. It's great. They enjoyed it. It's about the same score as all the other Cornello trilogy. I'm not going to say that right anytime throughout this video, but I'm going to try anyways. But yeah, so it's along the same lines as those other ones. It's still a highly rated movie and a good movie, and I think it deserves it because if you get, for my personal rating, which is what I'm going to go into now, I give it 2 thumbs up. I've always enjoyed Shaun of the Dead since the first time I saw it. I love this movie. It's such an original idea to me. Like even at the age of like 11, I'm pretty sure I saw this movie in theaters when it premiered because I just loved the trailer. It was funny. You just see this guy, and you're like, oh, he's not a zombie. He's just a tired British dude. But it's just really funny. I enjoy the way they take this like mix of British humor, the way it's shot. Edgar Wright does a great job directing action films and the way he shoots these scenes and dynamic scenes, even plain old nothing scenes where it's just like, oh, they're just all piling into a car. It's just the way he shoots it so tightly and focuses in on certain aspects, like the door itself closing, little things like that I just really love. And to me, it just helps add to the character and plot development by adding these little things into it. And overall, I think this is just a great, well-made movie all around. So my favorite part about Shaun of the Dead was definitely the first time the 2 main characters, played by Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, and when they first encounter a zombie in this movie, the first time, it's just they're just so confused, and they're just like, they don't know what's going on. At first they think it's just some drunk lady, and then they're kind of like working their way through it. They hear on the radio or on the TV that there's some kind of zombie outbreak, so they try these just ridiculous things. They're like throwing stuff at it. They get the vinyl records collection and just toss it at it, only like 3 of which hit before they end up like breaking down their shed door, getting out the couple shovels and a cricket bat and going to town on a couple zombies. And I just really love the way the characters handle themselves by not like panicking, but by being ridiculous instead. And I think that's a strong point to any comedy movie. So my other favorite part of Shaun of the Dead was definitely the pub fight scene with the jukebox going off. We get a mix of this great classic rock song playing while they're trying to fight off this frozen zombie, and it's just really fun. It's kind of a trope now of Edgar Wright that he's continued throughout his movie career of just mixing in these great like soundtracks into all his movies and kind of really making like not just a soundtrack over it, but having it as part of the plot of the movie itself. Because it wasn't just that this song was blasting for the movie, it was blasting for the characters within the movie as well. It was part of the scene. It drew in a bunch of other zombies. It built to more of the story and the plot, and that's why I really just enjoyed that fight scene in the pub with the music. Plus, you always gotta love a mix of Queen with some frozen zombie fight. Like, what's not to love about that? But guys, lastly, I'm just gonna go into my recommendation for this, which is obviously I highly recommend it. I've just gushing over this movie this whole time. I freaking love this movie. Like I said, it's probably my favorite Simon Pegg movie. Favorite Simon Pegg and Nick Frost and Edgar Wright team up. Favorite of the Trinell. I just love this movie so much. My favorite zombie movie. It's just such a great movie. I've just always enjoyed it. It's fun. It's enjoyable. It never gets old. You just can pop it in, even if you're not like 100% focused on it, because maybe like making dinner in the background. You can still enjoy it because it's a lot about what you're hearing these guys go through. They're very vocal characters, and they got a lot of quips, and they're funny. And this is the first time we were introduced to the dynamic between Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. Well, me personally, I know they did some TV together before this, but my point is I really love this movie, and I think anybody who loves these actors and their on-screen friendship would really love this movie. Obviously, like if you haven't seen Shaun of the Dead and you're a fan of these two actors, I don't know how you could be. But this movie, in the end, it takes the classic zombie movie and gives it a truly British and comedic take, which I just think was just awesome. If you enjoy funny horror movies or unique horror movies, or like I said, Simon Pegg, Nick Frost, or Edgar Wright movies, of course, enjoy this movie. But that's it for the Rewatch Revisit review for Shaun of the Dead. Thanks for joining me this week, guys. Let me know in the comments below what you guys thought of Shaun of the Dead. Do you guys like it? Do you not like it? Am I overrating it a little bit because I really like it? Did you like it as much as I did? Did you not? Let me know whatever your thoughts are in the comments below. Thanks for joining me again this week, guys, and have a good one.